What is up, my loves? It's your girl Diamond. I'm back with my own review of Love and Marriage Huntsville. So let's get into it. The night has come. We are now at the end of the girls' trip. It felt like it's been going on forever and a day. But Melody had all the ladies wear white to represent new beginnings, fresh start, and to end things on a great note. She had entertainment, a fire juggler, amazing. Now, there was no assigned seating. So everybody sat where they wanted to sit. Sunny was sitting next to Destiny, but she made Lauren switch with Sunny because she knows Destiny was looking uncomfortable and she did not want any more dramatic moments happening on the final night. So while we're talking about being on this wonderful trip in St. Thomas and having a great energy, Melody asked, when was the last time we've all been around each other in this capacity this many days? And it's never been a time. Never. So she's hopeful that we can keep this energy back in Huntsville. No teachers in the background saying, keep hope alive. That's some passive aggressive shit there, Tisha, because you don't want to keep this energy because you did not want this trip to be a good time. You want this trip to be toxic. You want everybody to look at Melody differently, and you did not want to keep up with this energy. So it's fine, Tisha. We know where you stand, okay? So just trying to make sure everybody did have a good time. Kimmy spoke up about how she just don't do girl trips, even though this was her first girl trip she's ever done. So I'm confused, Kimmy. Either you don't do it or you've never done it. Because if you don't do it, that means you've never had an opportunity. Never in any of your friends you've had since you were a teenager or adulthood, you've never been on any type of girl trip before. And listen, if you haven't, that's fine. But it's just the way you put so much emphasis on something you just don't do because you prefer a trip like this only makes sense to have your man here. It's kind of sad to me that your life revolves around you having a good time if your man is there. Listen, I love being everywhere with my man, but me and my man have enjoyed each other without being in each other's company. That doesn't mean we don't enjoy each other's company, but it's what we are comfortable and secure in our relationship to do. I've had outings with my girlfriends, I've had dinners with my girlfriends, and so has my husband. He's had his guys' night and have been totally fine. But you know what, Kimmy? We won't invite you nowhere else, okay? If you prefer to be huddled up with Maurice, suffering in that house, just cooking and cleaning, not going nowhere, just do you, okay? That's totally fine. Um, but everybody has had a great time on this trip, okay? And everybody was pretty much clapping and saying, good job, Mel, you did a good job. While everybody's clapping, you see Destiny with a sour look on her face. And we all know Destiny don't have a great poker face. So Melody called out Destiny by saying, Destiny, do you disagree? You didn't have a good time? She was like, no. Well, because I didn't see you clap. You haven't been clapping or saying anything. No, the trip has been good. I don't have to agree with everybody. Oh, okay, you don't have to do what everybody else is doing, but you do expect for everybody to have the same negative experience like you. You do expect for people to understand how things have made you feel, but you cannot have that same understanding for someone else's feelings, right, Destiny? Okay, so in the confessional, right? She's like, I'm not saying it was a good trip, but oh my God, can everybody be themselves? They're all about, you're so amazing. You're so perfect. Like, can we just be ourselves? Can we even out the same level of playing field? I'm like, Destiny, what the fuck do you want? I don't think it's ass kissing if people who were invited on the trip is being grateful and appreciative of Melody being the host to plan a trip. And bitch, you didn't even get an invite. You were a plus one, and you still didn't show appreciation of being a plus one on this trip. Like, so I don't understand what more do you want, okay? I don't know what you're expecting after the issues. You started on this trip, and now you're mad that people are saying thank you, Mel. There's nothing wrong with saying thank you, Mel. Hell, they sorry. Like, Destiny, you are a negative Nancy. You are a Debbie Downer. You're a sour blowfish ass bitch that I just don't want to be around. Like, you weren't looking to have a good time on this trip. You wanted this trip to be negative. You wanted this trip to be fucked up. Because that was your whole entire plan, okay? But we want to talk about ass kissing, ma'am. Let's talk about how you ass kissed the entire shit out of Melody when you were on the top of them stairs whispering, I'm sorry, I love you, constantly trying to be in her presence, constantly trying to be up under her. You told Stormy to switch seats with you so you can sit next to Mel. Bitch, if that's not ass kissing, I don't know what is, Destiny. Get the fuck out of here with that shit. Really? Really? I cannot. Um, so while we're having a good time, we're trying to end things on a positive note. Here goes Destiny bringing down the energy, being a fucking Debbie Downer, like a fucking dark cloud, ready to rain on everybody else's parade. Because she said to Nell, it was disheartening to hear my friends, as a woman that betrayed me, says she's trying to have kids with my ex. Oh God, you know how annoyed I was just listening those come out of Destiny's mouth? I said, ma'am, what? What? Destiny, you think everything is set out to hurt you. And it's very quite sad that you think of yourself so highly like this. Now Melody even apologized for the whole group for feeling like they were intentionally making you feel uncomfortable for asking a married woman about her journey of trying to have children, because following the flow of conversation, you got revealed you're dating Nell's son. Tisha talked about her daughter. Nell asked Sonny, does she have kids? Does she want to have kids? She said, I'm going through IVF. Baby, but you trying to chastise Nell for saying as a woman you should be mindful for asking questions as a woman. Were you mindful when you posted Melody's children knowing she can't post her children? Were you being mindful as a woman to call another woman's mother a pimp and still give a bullshit ass explanation? Is it also being a woman, Destiny, that you're still being friends with a man who's willing to expose his ex-wife, Revenge P? That's distasteful as a woman, Destiny. So what the fuck you think you doing being combative with Nail, telling her she should be mindful? Yeah, but you should be mindful of your words. You should think first. Bitch, are you fucking serious? You have lied multiple times where you just say things just to say things for dramatic effect. Bitch, you just questioned Melody, believing that she was about to have a relationship with her husband's mistress. Not proving it to be a real fact, but because of your perception. Baby, that's fucking dangerous as well. Get the fuck out of here, Destiny. I'm sorry. Like, I'm really sorry. I don't know what she wants. Destiny, you are exhausting as hell. Talking about as a woman, you should be uncomfortable. Bitch, what? Girl, okay. But, okay. Okay, sure. Why the fuck are we catering so much to Destiny's feelings? I do not understand it. I'm going on, y'all. I'm sorry. I'm going on because it is exhausting as hell that Destiny's expecting so much loyalty that she does not give. Girl, did you not think about Melody's feelings when you were constantly trying to remind her of Martell? Get the fuck out of here. See, Destiny likes to be combative when receiving apologies. She does, because you hear Nell quivering like she's about to cry by saying Destiny was no dig. I don't like people feeling uncomfortable. Sonny is around. It was just a natural question to ask. I was not trying to hurt you. I was not doing any of that. I would have been like, well, Destiny, what you getting mad for? Ain't you dating my son? Should I feel a way about you so concerned about your ex that you not with anymore since you with my son, right? I would have had that type of response than apologizing to Destiny. See, but again, like I said, Destiny likes to be combative, okay? When receiving apologies, she still likes to point out what they've done wrong. Once she hears the apology, she won't let it go. She still likes to chastise them. She still likes to question their integrity. She still likes to question their reasonings. But bitch, when we question your reasonings, you give a backhanded apology. The fuck out of here. So now, trying to calm that down, Melody said, she said, sorry, you received it, right? So let's move on. Then Sonny comes in, and I believe it was a whole different type of conversation that Sonny was having. I think she said, we have to talk about how certain people have been portrayed, either portrayed or betrayed. I feel like she said portrayed, but in the end, she's like, we have to acknowledge it and we have to move past it. If we keep denying it, then we're not going to move forward. I feel like that was from a totally different conversation that was chopped and screwed that had nothing to do with Destiny. Nothing. But I feel like Destiny just had to chime in. She just had to say something. Now putting emphasis on, it's funny how you say betrayed because that's how you've acted and you still haven't denied it. You still denied that you betrayed me. And Sonny just gave her the nutshell. Baby, I was not your friend. We were not friends, so I did not deny you. I did not betray you. I have no loyalty towards you. So, girl, it's still annoying as fuck to me that Destiny still wants to, just drill it into folks' heads that you're mad that Sunny's here. You're mad that she's with your ex-boyfriend. And I'm like, you know what, Destiny? It's already been revealed. You knew they were coming on this show because you wanted them to be part of your storyline. You okayed them being on this show. But baby, after how many fucking episodes of this shit, we're fucking tired, Destiny. Give us something new. Okay? Give us something new. All right? I ain't got time for that. But at the same time of getting that, you see how long I got? I'm over 10 minutes in because this is fucking annoying as hell to me. It's annoying as hell to me to be talking about this shit. As I said, I'm over this. I'm tired of this. Okay, just to see Destiny want to create another confrontation with a Sunny is annoying as hell to me. Okay, then you want to check Sunny about how she's been giving you negative energy back and forth this entire trip. Ma'am, have you looked in the mirror lately? Then you want to say her apology that she gave to you wasn't genuine, all because of the energy she's giving you in this moment. So it's like, I don't have nothing else to say to you. I have nothing else to believe that you really are sorry. Bitch, the same applies to you. We have no choice but to believe you don't mean the shit you say. Because that backhand apology you gave about Melody's mom being a pimp, you going to your confessional, double down on it, bitch. We can't trust shit you say when you give apology. So why you coming at Sunny for it? And the negative energy, I'm so glad Shanita called it out by says I think it goes both ways. Because you have been given negative energy since being on this trip towards Sunny, towards Mel. Yes, you have. So with her saying, okay, Shanita, let me please speak. I hear you have an outside perspective, but this isn't your situation. It's between me and her. But you jumped in a conversation between Sunny and Mel that you wasn't included in. So I think Shanita had every right to call you out by saying you've been given negative energy too. So when Shanita smiled and counted, she said, this bitch don't know me. I swear, I think Shanita had to count to 10 when it came down to Destiny telling her to shut the fuck up and not so many words. It's like, bitch, you gotta be out your fucking mind. I'm gonna speak out loud because I know the situation. I'm gonna speak out loud because you've been speaking out loud with everything else. So because you think you can say shit out of pocket, I can't call you out. Get the fuck out of here with that shit, okay? She don't know how to move forward. She likes to be negative. She likes to be in that toxic place. Don't have time. Ended it right there. Melody decides to end things on a positive note. She presented a picture of everybody when they were on the building, when they did the ATV rides. They all smiled, and she printed an individual copy for everybody to send home with a signed signature as a memory of the trip. Best believe Destiny got that picture framed, and she sleeps next to it every night. And also, with the picture, she recites a poem that she wrote and also gave the ladies a white rose to represent new beginnings as a sign for them moving forward. Melody even talks in the confessional how the trip went even better than she thought, but let's hope that it keeps on being great vibes and let us all carry this energy back to Huntsville. I know that Melody was exhausted trying to keep smiles, keep happy the remainder of the trip, but it's like, hell, I need to end things off with some type of smile on my face because y'all know I don't like to deal with this shit. But I'm here because it's my job. I got to move forward with y'all. So please bear with me. But y'all, moving on from this, okay? Let's move on to Trish and Ken, okay? Trish, you are not to be trusted. And I feel like you had an agenda on this show that is pretty much crumbling right in front of you, okay? So her and Ken, they're at a produce market. They're discussing the trip and discussing what took place between her and Sunny and how Trish really didn't appreciate Sunny telling her my situation is different than yours because Trish already had her mind made up of looking at Sunny sideways, but yet didn't like when Shanita called Trish out for throwing stones at a glass house because you're a whole married woman. I don't care if you are emotionally disconnected from your husband, you have moved on, you're in a new house, you live separately. I don't care. You are by law still a married woman. You're now involved in a new relationship that you're planning on marrying, but yet you still haven't gotten a divorce. You can't compare your situation to Sunny. And you can't throw stones in judgment on Sunny's situation because Sunny's situation is completely different. She got involved with a single man that was not in a relationship with Destiny, that Destiny had claimed more than once that she broke it off with him. So I don't understand why you try to make it seem as if Sunny's situation is majority wrong than yours. Make it make sense. And Ken, you're delusional. Trying to say, how is our situation compared to theirs? Sir, you have already admitted that you've been involved with married women before. You already know how to play your part, play your position. So you can't say, why are they comparing it? Because it's not the same. And then you want to call Shanita Millie's puppet, please back that shit up at the reunion. Please have the same exact energy right here in this moment. You're mad that everybody was on Sunny's side because listening to your story out loud makes no sense. Listening to your story is all confusing, it's twisted, it don't make no sense. I don't see how folks can't have questions. I don't see how folks can't look at you and be like, girl, so what's the problem? Why are you dragging your feet and not getting this divorce? So yeah, you don't have the right to judge Sunny. You don't have the right to look at her sideways. You don't. You don't. And why are you trying to make it seem as if Melody had it out for you when she never did? First time meeting you, she asked you, are you married? You got tongue tied and twisted of explaining yourself. So who wouldn't look at you funny? Who wouldn't look at you be like, girl, are you okay? I don't understand. And then she even defended you and Ken when y'all had y'all tasting at Kimmy's event that men and women can have platonic relationships before anything physical, anything emotional, anything else could have happened between y'all. So, but here you go again, erasing all those times where she was defending you. She was just understanding your situation, not talking about it, not making fun of you because everybody else around you has been making fun of you. Martell makes fun of you. Uh, Tisha, Marceau, Maurice, and Kimmy, they definitely make fun of your ass. So I don't see how. And I would rather understand Sunny from a different perspective than understand you because let's not get it twisted. It's a possibility you being a married woman, you might have infiltrated another married woman's home and slept with her husband. Talking about Sunny the Ocean Betrayal. You are definitely drinking Destiny's and Marcel's Kool-Aid and it is spiked. Okay? I'm not doing this with you. I'm really not. You've been separated from your husband for 5 years, never got a divorce, dangling this relationship with Ken because you're never going to leave. Like messing with that shit, really. Then Ken talks about there have been plenty of couples who have been separated from their spouse and they have gotten involved in new relationships and haven't got a divorce yet. It's totally normal. Okay, Ken, it might be, but these people don't drag out their divorce. They don't drag out getting it done while being involved in a new relationship. They get that shit handled when the situation is becoming serious. But Trish want to say Melody did it. Melody did what now? What you mean Melody got involved in a new relationship and brought it to her home? Who told you that shit? Destiny? Martell? What are you talking about? If you're referring to that time when Melly found out Martell cheated on her and she moved out, got her own place, dated for a little bit, then moved back in with her husband, see if she could move forward. Turns out he was still lying and cheating, said, I'm done, I'm leaving, never going back, divorced his ass, then discovered that he's having a baby on the way. Is that what you're referring to, Trish? Let me know because totally different situation at that point. It up. You want to talk about a man who was separated, a man who was still married and still carried a new relationship? That's Martell. Martell carried a whole affair for 5 years while married to Melody, still say Melly did it, but not call out Martell. Martell is the reason why we're in this mess. Did you not forget she divorced him? What is wrong with you? Like, why are you trying to compare and act as if the way you're handling your situation is not as bad as the way Melody did? But first off, Melody's not with her husband anymore. She's divorced. Been divorced for 5 years. Got out of Dodge quick as hell, faster than you ever did. You're still married. Like, you fake as fuck. I'm not hearing this shit from you. Then you're not even getting upset at Tisha for calling you out that she heard you over Martell's house a few times. Why aren't you mad at her? It's giving y'all had a conversation. It's giving y'all had an alliance to ambush Mel with this type of conversation. And you was willing to go along with it. Don't know why. Then you said you didn't even want to address it. You wanted to pull Melly to the side to have a private conversation, so it did not go far like it has. But you missed your golden opportunity. You could have told her the next morning after the dinner, but you left. You left to follow behind Stormy's ass. So to tell her that nothing happened between you and Martell, I didn't want it to present this way. I never wanted to be dragged out this way. Bullshit, Trish. It had already been spun out of control as soon as Martell never remembered you. As soon as he did not remember you, you felt the way and it got bigger and bigger and bigger. You allowed for the misrepresentation of your time together, your situation. I don't give a shit. You could have ended it by saying, you know what, Mel? This was probably around the time you were separated from Martell, and I was separated from my husband, and I was trolling, feeling vulnerable. Got involved with Martell. It was a one-time thing. It didn't mean nothing. I know you're not feeling it. I know you don't give a shit because you're divorced from this man. But I'm letting you know, I'm not doing this to get back at you. I'm not doing this to hurt you. I'm letting you know I am not involved in everybody dragging out this story. I'm not. That's how it could have been handled, Trish. You could have easily have removed yourself from making this about you, which is what I said in the beginning. I did not want Trisha's storyline to be presented of her possibly getting involved with Martell while he was still married to Mel. I did not want it, and that's all I'm getting. So now Ken wants to have a conversation with Martell because he didn't like the way the conversation went about presenting the situation between him and Trish as if something happened when nothing happened. He didn't like that Martell played into it. This is Martell. Martell likes to exaggerate. Martell likes to lie. But in a nutshell, sometimes Martell could be telling the truth. But you already heard Martell's intentions when he reached out to her in the DMs because from her picture, she looked fine enough. But in person, she didn't look fine enough. But obviously, he wasn't about to let that go. Still wanted to give her some attention. Still wanted to give her some type of memory of what they had. So you trying to say I want to have a conversation to not make her look like a thought is bullshit, Ken. Where was that energy if you was right in front of your face talking about her? So you can miss me with that shit. So then we gotta talk about meeting up with Marquez because he's tired of everybody coming at them, tired of speculating the situation when they don't know the whole situation. Well, y'all should not have come on the show with all of this confusion, all of the timelines having gaps and holes in them. That's on y'all, okay? You guys knew y'all had a sticky situation when y'all came on this show. So I don't see how you are saying everybody is doing too much, everybody's getting involved when you brought your shit on the show. And I'm gonna move on. Okay, so this scene between Kimmy and Maurice was just a gossip session. That's all it was. Okay, Kimmy is back home doing her wifely duties. She was so excited to get back to. How she missed Maurice. He really didn't miss her, but missed you cooking and cleaning for him. And she said, I had a good time, but you know I just don't do girl trips. I swear, Kimmy needs a shirt or a stamp that she's gonna always write down, always wears that says, I don't do girl trips. I get it, Kim. You're not a girl's girl. You don't find comfortability being around other women because that's not your thing. You find your attention is best needed when it's begging for attention from a man. I get it. But she said she didn't have any issue with anybody except for Nell. It was about the room you had an issue with. Nell came in, created more of an issue because Nell had her own moment about not having a name card. But again, Kimmy, you were killing me when you were complaining about grabbing your damn luggage. You were killing me about the room. And then when you approached Nell, when she told you to suck it the fuck up and get over it, at least you got a damn room. Yeah, that part, you can miss me, Kimmy. You really, really miss me. But I understand. I said it before. Nell didn't have to go outside, but it was a moment that was needed, and Kimmy did way too much complaining about a damn room. And Nell does chime in when she doesn't need to chime in, and she's supposed to be the mentor. She's supposed to be the wise one, but she created an issue that wasn't needed. I think Nell needs therapy. That I don't know why she likes getting involved with other women and um, so out of the entire trip, who did you like the most? Who did you got closer to? She said Trish. She understood Trish more. I'm confused. What did you understand about Trish? Saying how she stood on business for having her judgmental opinion about Sonny Moses. Well, from her, she can't give a judgmental opinion. And how she stood on business with regarding what happened between Martell, but she lied about it though. If she stood on business, she wouldn't have lied about it. She wouldn't have left out that she did go over there because she didn't want to perceive as if something happened. That's not standing on business to me. Like, Kimmy, is she kinship to you? Because it was a possibility you might have messed around with Maurice while he was still married because you didn't like the fact that people calling you out being a side chick. Like, you have an affinity for side chicks, don't you? Because you didn't even want to call out Ariane being a side chick, which is what she was. And since Trish isn't the side piece, but she's entertaining a side dude, you're understanding what she's got going on. I don't understand you, Kimmy. I really, really don't. That makes no sense. But in regards to her talking about her situation with Trish, there's some holes missing. There's things that doesn't make any sense. Maurice admits it's the same thing. The timeline don't make sense. His version don't make sense. Ken and Trish's version don't make sense. And this was all happening around the time she was still married. And from this point, she is still married. And with Martell saying nothing happened, because when he reached out to her, he did look at her picture. He did find her attractive, but when he seen her person, she wasn't bad enough for him. That was cold and wrong. So at that point, just Netflix and chill, her coming to the house drinking wine, nah, something else had to happen for there to be nothing. But some people like to say what did happen wasn't nothing to them. If all they did was fuck and Martell said it was nothing, then that's on Martell. If Trish said we didn't do nothing but kiss, or him grieving to me about his problems with Mel was something, then that was something. We don't know. Both versions are not really truthful, okay? So Maurice goes on this tirade about how Trish is in this predicament where she got a man that's giving her all that she needs and wants that she didn't get from her husband because he ran out on her. Then we got Martell in the mix. So what else happened in all of that? And why is she still holding on to this relationship, this marriage that she did not feel fulfillment in? So what's the problem? Then Kimmy had the suggestion, maybe we need to link up and talk to them and get to the bottom of it. All this was Maurice and Kimmy setting up another dinner like they did to Sonny and Moses to get to know them, but also to pick and prod their information because they don't have nothing going on. You see how that entire session wasn't even about them? It was about them talking about other people, because that's what the Scots like to do. Talk about other people's business and not discuss theirs. So concerned about a relationship that has nothing to do with them, but since it's there, it's been talked about, we have questions, we should talk about it because we're not talking about our shit, but since you're willing to talk about your shit, we want to have questions to ask you. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. But in a nutshell, Maurice feels like, I think Ken is in a predicament that he loves Trish more than she loves him. Kimmy said we don't know that to be true. But it is a fact, though. I do think Ken loves Trish for real, for real. I think he loves her wholeheartedly. But that's all I got for them. And now we're back to Tisha and Marceau. Same thing. Another gossip session about other people instead of them talking about their own stuff. She's back. Tisha starts from the middle of all the issues, all the drama she created on the trip by saying the first night she felt the way about Shanita calling her an op. But she said, I call Shanita her bodyguard, Melody's bodyguard, because she felt some type of way about Melody bringing her single friends. Tisha, that first night, you had to put emphasis on why Melody's I'm bringing my single friends. Y'all not friends. You guys are getting back to a cordial place. Melody has her own set of friends that she wanted to bring on this trip. You felt the way about it. So yeah, didn't like that Shanita was calling her an op. Okay? But I already defended you, Tisha. Yes, did Shanita do too much by calling you an op every 5 seconds, antagonizing you about it? Absolutely. But she wasn't lying the way you have carried yourself from this entire trip. The way you carried yourself this entire trip gave an op, okay? And your reasonings for moving forward in a friendship with somebody you know is not cool with another person, yeah, an op. So you saying you have no issue with Mel and you think that she was trying to have an issue with you? No, it wasn't. It wasn't. Okay? And I called it out that I didn't like it when Tisha repeated that she need to call her an op. Did y'all see Marceau's face? He didn't say nothing. He just buried his head on the countertop. He said, well, it ain't the first time you've been called that. It ain't the first time you ain't acting like you've been a real friend to Mel, so I don't see how you could be confused by somebody else calling you out. But when she mentioned Shanita's name, he said, I think I've seen her before. Is she tall? Then Tisha wanted to make a jab at Shanita by saying, yeah, she looks like a guy. Marceau told her, don't do that. Because it's not necessary, Tisha. It's not. You going below the belt to discuss her looks is cold as fuck because it's not necessary. You definitely are feeling a way about how she calls you out for your behavior and you can't handle it. But Marceau is also trying to save your ass by saying you're not about to have me be a part of you tearing down a woman's looks. That's not going to be a part of that. You're not going to put that on me. But also, Marceau likes to shade Mel by saying, well, she's not going to be here next year. You know, Melly don't never keep friends. And that's been the running joke, the running narrative on Love and Marriage Huntsville is that Melody don't know how to keep friends, okay? But I think that what y'all like to forget is Melody has not kept being friends with y'all because of y'all friendship with Martell. We know she still has her best friend from college, Brittany. We know that her and Shanita have been friends for quite many of years. Lauren has been a great friend to her as well. Melody has her own set of friends that are not on this show. So yes, the running joke that she can't keep friends is old and dead. She just don't trust y'all as her friends anymore because y'all were friends with her husband. And in the confessional, Marceau said what he said, and then Tisha said even family members ain't safe. I'm like, what family members are you talking about? Because what family member of Mel have shown up on the show besides yours? I'm like, is you taking a jab at your recently deceased cousin Kiki? Because if you are Tisha, you gonna have to eat that when it gets revealed on the reunion. Why did you say that? And everybody gonna be coming at you about what you done to Kiki. Rest in peace, Kiki. I'm just saying. Fashion, she removes herself from saying that she was the one who called out Trish to discuss her going on to Martell's house. Because Stormy said you came out of the house a couple times and blah, blah, blah. And she said nothing happened. She just, prepared some type of workout plan and left. And Marceau was like, that's all she said? Nah. Because how you going to lie and say nothing happened? But Martell said you came over, watched the movie, and drank some wine. And that's what it was. She's like, huh? Because how you going to lie and say you're going over there and help somebody train and work out that don't have a gym? Ding, 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 Marceau. That is a good question. How are you going to train somebody that doesn't have an own gym? So yeah, the intention of going over there was not on some, I'm here to help you work out. It was for something else. And Marceau said, somebody got to teach people how to lie. Okay, give us lessons, Marceau. Give us lessons. Now Tisha's in the confessional talking about how their story don't add up. And when you know a situation don't add up, you hear bits and pieces. You don't hear the full context of it. But I'm like, why are we discussing this though? This is around the time Millie and Martell were separated from one another. Why are we mentioning it as if this is something that's currently? But this is what the Scots like to do. I told y'all that the Scots were going to eat up this story between Trish and Martell and make it their storyline, make it their obvious conversation to bring up, make it their sole purpose of always discussing this, dissecting it, and bringing it up every 5 minutes. I told y'all this is what they're going to do because they're not going to discuss their own lives. They're not. She also mentioned Melody and Destiny had their come to Jesus moment, but forgot that Tisha planted a battery in Destiny back to confront Mel. Marceau said that in that friendship, both Melody and Destiny have done things to one another, and I need for Marceau to tell me what did Melody do to Destiny, because I think it's the obvious. I think it's the opposite. In Tisha's mind, they worked it out, they talked about it, but then she mentions that Melody insinuated that Destiny slept with Martell. Of course, she was stuttering when she said it because she wasn't sure how she would say it on camera. Marceau said, wait, Melody said that? Well, she didn't say it exactly. That's not what she said. No, because she didn't say it at all, Tisha. She said, I don't know what Destiny does. You added that. But Marceau said, Martell's been insinuating that as well. Here she goes looking confused. Really? Yeah. He said, yeah, Martell's been saying things like Law looks like him and all that stuff. What? Are you for real? Yeah, for real. So if Martell is comfortable with saying his friend's son looked like him, then I would believe that Melody had a right to think that way. Now, Tisha wasn't expecting for Marceau to believe Melody's feelings in this matter, but, understand how Melody could feel like that, because why would you say that? Okay. Because he said Martell has a way of saying things over and over again to indicate he's trying to say something to keep up a narrative. But I feel like y'all have been falling for that bullshit since the beginning. Y'all fall for him saying Melody cheated, Tisha believed it. Y'all fall for Wanda's rumor about Sugar Mom not being Martell's, Tisha believed it. So with defending Melody's feelings in that matter, Tisha wasn't expecting that. Then she wanted to add that Destiny also confronted Mel that she was teaching the mistress on how to respectfully cheat. Marceau said, why would she do that? That doesn't make any sense. And the more and more that Marceau told her, why would she do that? Why would any wife be on the phone with the mistress on some, I'm trying to create a friendship with you when you cheated with my husband? He gonna teach you acting stupid. Yeah, I mean, even saying it out loud, like that don't make no type of sense. It don't. Tisha, shut the fuck up. Tisha just loves mentioning what could have occurred between Melly and Martell and what Melly might have done. Because the fact that you're now switching up, that Marceau doesn't believe it, and now you agreeing with him that it doesn't make sense. You believed it when Destiny said it. You believed it when it was mentioned. So why now all of a sudden, since Marceau is not falling for that, now you want to say, oh, I get it. That's so dumb. That don't make no sense. Tisha's full of shit. Tisha is full of shit. But, excuse me, other than that, Tisha also said Martell's the type of man that will want women to fight over him. I think if he had it his way, he would have wanted Melody and Ariana to be fighting over him. And Tisha had a point. I would agree. That's what Martell has been doing this entire time. Martell wants to antagonize Mel in order for her to go back and forth with him and use it as she can't stand to see me happy. She can't stand that I'm moving on with Ariana and blah, blah, blah. Because that's what Martell did want. Martell did want for both of the women to fight over him, and Melody wasn't doing it. But other than that, that entire scene, it was annoying that all the couples did, mainly the Scotts, all they did was discuss the mess from about other people and did not talk about themselves. That's all it was. So moving on from there, we now get the sit down between Trish, Marquez, and Ken. Now, at first, Ken didn't need to be there. I felt like it should have been a conversation between Ken and Trish and Marquez because they were the husband and wives of this situation. But since Marquez avoided a proper introduction with Ken to see his intentions and motives, Ken had to be there. But also, Ken was Trish's mouthpiece to calm the situation down. So, Trish didn't want to have it. She didn't want to have this conversation at all. So we go on the timeline that prior to Marquez still living at the house, 3 years prior, he asked, were y'all having conversations? They were having conversations. Then he mentioned the chocolate emojis and that Trish talking about Ken's body was husband body goals and he was feeling type of way about it. And he said, Ken said, me and Trish have never had no relationships at all while y'all were together. Marquez wants to know were there sexual conversations, were there sexual text messages. He said, no, we never really talked about things like that. We never had intimate conversations. All we talk about is fitness. Well, saying never really implies that there might have been some flirting because Marquez said, well, for women, an emotional connection can still be something to create when you're talking to another person. And I do have to agree with Marquez. An emotional connection with somebody is still cheating. And since Trish was vulnerable, no doubt she was expressing her inner feelings, her personal feelings to Ken and everything. So I would agree, yeah. And I think Trish was talking about Marquez having multiple connections with other women before her or during her. I think that she's talking about. And he said, I need to know who's around my children. And Trish said that Marquez never came by. And he combats with her that he did come by, but whenever he did come by, he was met with excuses, like his kids had something to do. Okay, well, that's not even something to use as an excuse. If you know your kids are doing something, you should figure out where they're at so you can still see them. But finding out that he did live 5 minutes around the corner, and yet he still never came by. Still never came by. His daddy was the one who kept the relationship with his grandchildren, not Marquez. And he said, I never leave my children. You did. You left. You even left the first house. That's what she called him out on. Now she's getting frustrated. Ken's trying to calm her down. She said, you were absent in the first house. He admitted it. He said, I'm absent, but maybe the reason why I was absent because I wasn't absent. Girl, boy, make it make sense. Either you were absent or you weren't absent. Okay? Either way, you were not around. You left. Now traveling to Atlanta, all of a sudden, third, excuses for me. I'm back in the roller coaster again because Marquez don't have a legitimate reason why he didn't come around his kids. He wants to use the fact that since Ken was around, he didn't need to come. That's bullshit. Ken presence should not have bothered you where you could not still be there for your children, okay? Because then he's, being macho, telling Trish, I cut the umbilical cord. Trish, I did that. Okay, you did, but yet you did not show that energy when you were gone. Now, his question towards Ken bothered me when he said, do you tuck my daughter in at night? Do you give my daughter affection? I didn't like the way he asked that question. Because it was like it was insinuating that there's something perverted about Ken's presence around his children, particularly his daughter, and wonders if there is something else that Ken is connected to. Like there's other intentions of Ken being there. I didn't like the way Marquez asked that question. He said, yeah, I definitely show affection. And I show affection to your daughter as well as my daughter is showing affection to your daughter. Both her daughter and my daughter are being great friends. They are spending a lot of time with one another. They are developing a great relationship. But he doesn't know that. Well, you're not around to see that though. And just because Ken is doing things for the kids doesn't mean you can't do things as well. Them your kids as well. Like Ken has not taken your place. You can still do what you need to do. So for me, it's all like, you cap to me. I don't think that Trish stopped Marquez from coming over. I do think that Trish was definitely being petty by the way he left her and by the way he just decided to come around as if nothing happened. I do see her doing that. I do. So in the confessional, she said, I don't think me being with Ken had anything to do with him not coming around as a father. Even when Ken wasn't in the picture at the time, he still didn't show up. So it's all bullshit. It's all excuses. That's all I got from that point. Yeah, he's still upset that he didn't have a proper conversation about who Ken was and what was his intentions, which I can understand. I get it. And he didn't have the conversation like you wanted to, but you ran away from it because you didn't like the way that it was revealed. That you have not shown up in process of being there for your children. You have not. So he took accountability for his part by not being present, but yet it's still not enough though. Because Ken even called him out by saying, listen, while you calling out that I'm playing with your nephew, your children, all this and the third, that's because I'm there. I'm consistent. I'm all about my action as well as my words. And, he threw out there that Ken has taken his kids out the country. He bought his son his first car. That's not on Ken's fault. You can't say Ken didn't have a right to do that. If he's there, forming a relationship with your children, that means he is going to be there for everything. Okay? He's going to step in and do what a man's supposed to do. Because he said, I'm a man of my household. I'm the provider. I'm the protector. I'm going to make sure everybody else is good. But that does not mean you can't come in and do what you need to do. I want all of us to figure out this trio so we can all make sure these kids get the love, affection they deserve, to be financially stable, emotionally stable, mentally stable. I'm willing for us all to be a part of that. It's not just me. It's you too. So how natural it was for Ken to come in and assess the situation and just, solidify his spot in the kids' lives as well as being involved with Trish. It was natural for them to be connected to him. It was natural for them to form a relationship because he was consistent. He was there. You weren't there. So the part of Marquez just trying to defend, they're my kids, but you were not there for your kids. We need to be there for your kids. Like, you can't use that. And you can't make it seem as if Trish wasn't meant to move forward without you in regards to how you left her in a vulnerable place. You left her when her parents passed away, when her sister passed away, left her to pretty much figure this out by herself. So yes, poured everything into Ken. He was able to pick up the pieces in her heart and pick up the pieces in her children's heart. That's on you. Like, you can't expect to have your seat available as a father, as a husband, when you're ready, when you wasn't even there in the beginning. As he's trying to get over it. As much he's trying to figure it out. He's been with Trish since they were 19. There's a lot of history there, but he knows it's a challenge. He knows he has to get over it. So he brought the divorce papers. When I tell y'all, the way that Trish took a pause when she saw those divorce papers, she hesitated because she didn't expect for him to bring it. So yeah, she can see that from her stance, seeing Marquez's energy and emotions. Yeah, it's a bit hurtful to see his family moving on without him, and that another man's coming in and doing more with his kids than he has, and I'm moving on without him because we've been together for so long. So yeah, it is hurtful. It is to witness this, absolutely. But I think that's why Trish has been hesitant because of the history. While she's romantically, emotionally removed from this relationship, I think it's the history that she is trying to be delicate about, but it still is not going properly. So after receiving the bill for dinner, she asked for a pen. She signed the papers. Marquez was boo-hoo crying. He did not wait till he got to the car to cry. And Ken offered him to seek therapy because Ken has seek therapy. And I don't know why, but Ken even offered his number if Marquez wanted to call him and talk to him about what's going on in his life. Because, yes, Marquez was definitely going through a breakdown. He was. This was a whole Tyler Perry moment with the music in the background and everything. So while signing the papers, but Marquez said these papers have to be signed under a notary. You sign the papers doesn't make it real. It's just you signed the papers. So this was a fake scene that you would. But as Marquez is crying, what's his name? Oh, Trish. Trish has been used to this type of waterworks that Marquez has done before. He cries at the drop of a hat, but nothing changes. So she's used to this manipulation tactic of his. I mean, the way that the tears was just dropping, it was like, is he really crying? Or is he playing? But either way, it wasn't funny, but it was funny. And as they walk off, he's sitting there crying, saying, fuck. Oh my God, I love my family. Y'all, when I tell y'all, I was like, in this scene, cut the cameras, please, cut the cameras. This should not have been something for us to witness. I'm telling you, this was a very heavy moment, but I don't know if it was a real moment. And Ken and Trish, get off this damn show. I'm hearing that y'all be having breakdowns on social media. Ken going back and forth in the comment section. Marquez as well. I ain't got time for this shit, okay? But y'all, that's it. That's all I have. Please stay tuned for my next video. I'm going to see you guys later. Bye.